Hello. It's time for a not pre-scheduled lunchtime Stardew Valley cooking stream. Um, because I realized that I wanted to do this week, and I got ingredients for it. And then remembered that I have a very busy week and probably won't have time to do it like at dinner time. Um, any day. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I'm gonna have to make dinner anyway. And I feel like these streams don't add a whole lot of time to that, but whatever. We're doing it right now. I'm gonna make vegetable medley. Um, Rules of my Stardew Valley cooking challenge. Number one, have to use all the ingredients listed in the game. Rule two, I can add any other green ingredients as long as they're not available in Stardew Valley. Rule number three, as much as possible, create the recipes myself. Rule number four, as much as possible, use local and or foraged ingredients, goal of one fancy ingredient per recipe. I've kind of been slacking on that one lately. I've had other reasons to pick why I wanted to do individual recipes that particular week or day that didn't really match up with being able to get like farmers market or foraged or whatever um, things that are actually relevant to that. We've got one today though. Five, as much as possible, take inspiration from the in-game images and descriptions. I'm putting my phone down so I can do my figures. Six, as much as possible, try to make them actually tasty, even if they're not necessarily pitched as that in the game. Rule seven, have fun. Um, so making vegetable medley, also called vegetable stew. I'm not really gonna make a stew. The picture looks like it is a plate of vegetables, and I don't really feel like making it into a stew. I think we're going with vegetable medley, which is the official name for it. Description: this is very nutritious. Ingredients: tomato and beet. Now I think that a medley should have more than two vegetables if it's called a vegetable medley. But I do have a tomato and a beet. I wanted to get both of these from the farmer's market. I'm dropping beet leaves on the floor. Um, but unfortunately, I think that local beet season has ended, and it didn't quite work out for me to be able to do this in the like week or two that they actually overlapped. So normal grocery store, and but the tomato is a farmer's market tomato. Um, I'm excited. I'm just gonna use the one for this, I think, but um, I did get a couple others to cook in other things throughout this week. Um, so my plan here is I'm really just gonna sort of like slice them and roast them, and I think that that's gonna kind of be the vibe. Because it's a medley, I have the tomato and beet that are required. I also have a turnip, which is not in the game, an onion, which is not in the game, and a spinach, which is not in the game. So these are all free for me to add. To make it more of a medley, and also the like image for the vegetable medley has all these different colors. Um, so I wanted to get some other things that would be different colors. My initial plan was to see if I could use some kohlrabi as like a green sort of vegetable to add. However, I was unable to find any when I was shopping this weekend, so I added other things. Um, but I think it'll work out. Okay. I'm gonna need to use a couple different knives. Wait, now where is my... Is it in the drying rack somewhere? That's not what I was thinking of. Okay. My plan is also just to do it in the cook it in the air fryer, toaster oven, countertop oven thing. So I might actually flip this bad boy down now and get the pan out. Um, no oil in this, so it will be a butter situation. But I think that's fine. I think like buttery veggies is that's yummy. Um, I also haven't really thought about what kind of seasoning I want to do. I'm gonna sort of vibe that out. Where's also gonna I think peel probably the beet and the turnip. Definitely the turnip. Usually when I cook turnips, I peel them, and I feel like the beet also, since usually when I make beets, I like I'll like roast them whole, and you like drizzle oil, wrap them in like parchment paper and tin foil, and then roast them. And then I will cut them up and then put them in a pot and turn them into a soup, and usually end up like immersion blending them. Um, I'm not going to do that on this because I'm not going stew mode. Alright. And of course, gonna have really pink hands from from I'm actually gonna wash them first so that I can like maybe not completely dye the turnip pink, since part of the reason for the turnip, in addition to it being a yummy vegetable, is to add an additional color. It's related to mustard. It's kind of has a little bit of a mustardy smell. I should look that up. Trying to figure out what I want to do later this afternoon. I was thinking maybe of like going to the park and either bird watching or reading or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I probably should do some yard work. There's a couple of things I've definitely been meaning to clean up in the okay. Healing done. Wow. I'm trying to decide actually. Maybe I should like brown some butter and do like a sauce and make like a butter sauce. There's like 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter here. It's already soft. I'm trying to decide if that's enough. I think it probably isn't. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna brown some butter. Probably not a whole stick, probably half a stick. And I'll also try to not knock my headphone out of my ear with my hair. That's always a fun thing to do. Let's get that going. We'll see. It's oh geez, kicking my unsecured grate across the floor. Um, so we'll see if I decide that I don't actually feel like um waiting the entire time for it to brown. I don't know. I think a brown butter could be pretty good. This. I'm trying to think if there's any other like random stuff I can add. I feel like most of what I have is ingredients that are not allowed because they exist in Stardew Valley. Um, like I couldn't do like a milk or cream sauce. Um, so I think probably I'll brown the butter and then add some spices to it, and then like drizzle that on the veggies. Okay. In the meantime, I will slice up said veggies. I'm thinking like I'm probably gonna have a little bit of this for lunch and then save the rest of it to eat with dinner later. Uh, but I had the time to make it now, so that's what I'm doing. All right. Probably salt the veggies and then uh, put the sauce on. Like I probably won't make the sauce itself salty because if I salt the veggies right after I slice them up and put them on this pan, then they can kind of sit in the salt for 15 minutes while the um butter browns and probably like roast them for like half an hour. It smells really good. It's got like a nice spicy smell to it. And I'm like trying to remember if other turnips I've had have also smelled like that. I feel like I don't recognize them. Do I want to do anything different with the spinach or do I want to roast it? I think probably the spinach will not go in there for 30 minutes. That feels like too long for spinach. I'll just like probably flip the um I'll probably flip them halfway through, so I'll just add the spinach when I do that. I might add the tomato when I do that too. I feel like tomato could just roast for 15 minutes. So I guess what I'm doing right now is just slicing up this onion and adding that, and then I'll salt those veggies. Onions is fun for me. Especially like this one doesn't have. Sometimes I feel like sometimes you'll have an onion and it's like there's the layer that's all skin, but then there's another layer that's like enough of it is has gotten papery that you're like, I'll just peel this whole layer off, but also still enough of it is like normal onion that it's easy to just pull the full layer off, and that is always really great. Unfortunately, this is not one of those onions. This one, the skin layer is well defined, very even, but I have removed it. I'm just like for all of these sort of like big uh big round veggies, I'm just having them and then slicing the halves. Like honestly, for at least for the onion, usually I'll like slice onion pretty thin. I'm also just trying to fit all this onion in here in one layer and thinking perhaps it's too much, but it's fine. I'm not a coward. Even which is kind of it's the onion. Oh, onion tears hitting me. Ah, I think we'll be all right. Okay, salt on the pan and very cool. The butter is melted. So now it's just gotta chill until it is brown. And I am going to put salt and veggies. That's my tray of beet and turnip and onion. I keep like thinking I'm gonna mix up turnip and parsnip. I like double and triple checked at the grocery store on the like Stardew Valley wiki. I was like, okay, which one is the one that is allowed? And it is turnip, and I did get the correct one. But I am still like, oh no, what if I messed it up and I've like totally betrayed the core tenet of my challenge? Um, but that's not happened actually, and it's fine. Um, I do think like the doing just one or not just one. Do the rule that if a ingredient is in Stardew Valley, I can only use it if it's called for, I think is kind of the like the important the core of like what I wanted to do with this whole series challenge, etc. I wonder if it'll mess up the butter browning process if I put pepper in it now. It might. I feel like sometimes I add stuff to butter when I'm browning it and it like gets weird. But I will figure out what seasoning I want to do. Cajun seasoning, maybe? Would that be good? Maybe vegetable medley is Cajun seasoning. I'll leave it out whilst I think about it. I could also do harissa. I don't know. I don't know if that would go super good with beets. I guess I don't know if Cajun seasoning would either. Um, I mean mustard could be good, and like paprika and um. I don't actually entirely remember what I decided on whether garlic powder counts as garlic. I think it doesn't. I think I decided it doesn't. Um, mustard, garlic, paprika could be, and pepper could be good. I'm thinking mustard because of the mustardy smell that the turnip had. Although maybe it'd be better to do like an Italian seasoning, and then I could still do garlic and pepper. That seems actually like it's probably good mix. Oh, Cajun seasonings. This one. Let me find where. Ooh, do I want to do rosemary? Actually, that could be. I could maybe like a little bit of lemon juice actually would be good. Like rosemary, garlic powder, pepper. Yeah, let's do that. Might even sprinkle some rosemary now across these, and then I'll do a little more in the butter. That kind of feels in the spirit of vegetable medley. We'll go with that. And and believe it or not, I think probably no nutritional yeast. Well, I gotta get more of that. I'm like almost out. Um, I am maybe changing my mind and thinking I should guess I'll use the open garlic powder. The cap broke off of my garlic powder, so and then I was putting it back on, but I lost it somewhere. Okay, garlic powder and rosemary on there. We'll do rosemary and pepper in the butter, pour the butter over. Oh, it's like already starting to brown a little bit. I might, mm, actually probably good now. Especially because I'm gonna add some stuff and it'll still be a little bit on the heat. Okay. You there. Get mixed up. And I will pour this over these. Um, of this in here. I'm thinking like 425, and then we'll do 15 minutes, flip them, add spinach and tomatoes. Um, Easy peasy. Oh, I didn't add any lemon. You know what? I will cook it and then taste it, and if I think it needs lemon, I'll add lemon. You are probably a little bit hot to wash still. But I shouldn't bother to fully wash it on account of I will probably use it to flip things. Um, I would like love to clean up, but the tomato is still on there. If I can clean my knives. I don't know how fast this thing heats up. Um, I mean, this oven, I don't know. It doesn't feel particularly fast or particularly slow to preheat. But the oven at my parents' house that I like grew up cooking with, um, is so slow to heat up. And also it like if you open the door for 1 second to like put something in or take something out, it loses so much heat and it's really annoying. Um, I'm thinking possibly while I wait for this to cook, I might, uh, well, no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe I'll do some prep for the kombucha batch that I need to change out this afternoon. But I think actually I'm gonna do that in a. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get it into that container. Uh, I'll figure that out later. I should maybe wash my cheesecloth though, actually. I guess these towels probably could also use a wash. Usually I usually I wash my cheesecloth with towels or whatever. I might actually pop to a BRB screen really quick while I make start a little laundry. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Laundry started. I actually had a couple of towels that I could also put in it so that it was like not a tiny minuscule little that was like not worth reading. Sure. Um, just like catching up on some miscellaneous notifications I had. I had to get my emissions tested. Hello, Connie. You want to join us? You can't actually see the floor in the shot at all. Hello, buddy. Sweetie, your paw pads look kind of dry. Right, you can be made a terrible mistake, which is that I removed the towels, but it's okay. I have my little backup hand towel that I always forget about until I'm actively washing towels and wash my hands, and I'm like, I have nothing to dry it with. There's other towels in here too. Um, Speaking of kombucha, I might have some. Um, I'll drink some more of this because if I do, maybe I will finish off this bottle. This is orange peach. Um, Perhaps I will finish it, and then I can wash this bottle and put more kombucha in it, instead of having to figure out. Okay, I feel like the club soda maybe a little bit. It's got a little bit of a sound. I had some of this orange peach yesterday that was like I like watered it down a little bit with some sparkling water, uh, which was pretty good. And it was nice to have it be a little fizzy. So I'm gonna see if I can achieve that later. But also this, I've had this club soda. Okay, I feel like it didn't really add that much conviction, but it's okay. That's some that's some steam happening. I don't know if it does it like show up at all. No. Um, yeah, no. Little bit of steam from the roasting vegetables. There's like 5 minutes left. It's time to flip them. Yeah, I can totally finish this today. This is like one more glass. So I can find where it'll fit in my fridge. Uh, and been playing Blueprints. Uh, I played a bunch of it like a while back, um, and then kind of took a break and did other stuff. Not even really like playing other games necessarily. Just like I had a bunch of like holds be ready from the library, so I was like, I got to speed run reading all of these things. Um, but I've I've been going back and playing it more. I've been trying to do day one runs. I've gotten some that have been like pretty close. Uh, where I have like most of what I need set up and then just like run into a dead end or like I keep having ones where I've run out of keys, which is real annoying. Um, but whether there's like a part of this where there's not. This is also true about when I cook on my own. We're listening to EP, where it's just like waiting for something to cook before I can do something else. I'm always like, oh, I've managed my time poorly, which is like not necessarily true. Um, like the time will pass anyway. I usually find something to do. Sometimes I'll go, like read a little bit or like do any number of things that I can do in other rooms. But with it, when I'm streaming, I'm like, well, I shouldn't just like wander off. And I a little bit also feel like I shouldn't just like stand around the kitchen looking at my phone, but what else am I gonna do? I'm going to. How hot is this? Not so hot. I can't do this. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's totally fine. Okay. Gonna flip this stuff. A lot of sort of red beet juice, which I suppose is to be expected on account of that's like the main thing about beets is that they're really red. Um, Seems that despite my, I was gonna say best efforts, but despite my moderate effort, um, the turnip is all gonna be pretty red. That's okay. Um, I like. I think it's really funny that it's tomato and beet are the ingredients that are included in this recipe, and this is a different recipe than red plate. Um, Now, to be fair, red plate is also red ingredients, kind of. Well, it's red cabbage and um radish, I think. Which those are both red. Red cabbage has it in the name, although I feel like red cabbage is a bit more of a purple color. Um, but it's like if they're like radish, those are white on the inside typically. At least in my experience. I don't know. There might be some that are like red all the way through. But um, I'm gonna probably add a little more salt on the tomatoes in particular, just because tomatoes and salt is good. And they don't have any on it yet. I kind of actually intended to do that before adding them, but I forgot. Whoopsie. Um, was I in the middle of saying? I forget. Um, but like, yeah, it's interesting that beet and tomato, which I would say are generally more red than um the cabbage and radish are in vegetable medley and not red plate. And I guess that like it kind of makes sense that red plate doesn't just have everything that's red. Um, because that would be, that's like beet, tomato, or you can include cabbage, red cabbage, and radish. Uh, Pomegranate, I would add. Cherry? Are there cherries in Stardew? I don't remember. Strawberry, like all of um, all of these ingredients and fruits and vegetables it would honestly probably not all go together very well. I'm gonna just spinach that's all attached. I don't know if I've ever seen spinach do that. It makes sense that it would. Like, they are leaves, so makes sense that that's how they grow. But even when I get like a bunch of spinach instead of a bag of spinach, I don't know that I've ever seen that. Okay. That's I feel like with spinach, I like never know the right amount because it cooks down so much. That's probably gotta find other things to do with spinach this week. I can put some on pizza. Let me say the pizza this week. Um, okay. Back in the oven for another of hot cold eat the food. Um, okay. I bet you this. Yeah, it's still a little warm, but definitely has cooled off enough for me to wash it. As long as I let the water get kind of hot first. I'm thinking the batch of kombucha that I make this afternoon is gonna be strawberry because um they had big enormous things of strawberries that were on sale, and I got some to partly thinking I would do a strawberry kombucha, and partly uh as a to bring. I went down to a lake yesterday with my family. Um, and I brought that as a snack. But there's plenty of strawberries left over, so I'm trying to decide. I kind of want to do like a strawberry mojito. I think that would be really good, but my mint plant is a little bit rough in a little bit rough shape right now. So I'll have to go and see if I can actually like get enough mint leaves to make that happen. Get that away. Little paper towels. This on. Wash the cutting board. Yeah, I've made a bunch of fun desserts lately. Uh, I think actually I mentioned what did I do last week? Pepper poppers? I did pepper poppers last week. Um, I made the Otto Lengi's Ancho Chili Tangerine Flan for my birthday party. That was really good. I have a little bit left. That I thought about getting out and eating during this stream, but then I was like, well, I am like making lunch. I should probably eat lunch before I eat leftover flan and like ruin my appetite. Um, so I will be eating that later. Um, and then also made lavender Earl Grey ice cream that was really good. And horchata ice cream that was also pretty good. It didn't turn correctly, and I don't know if it's that the ice cream maker bowl wasn't frozen all the way and it just like wasn't cold enough to do it right. But like I kept being like, okay, let me put like the bowl back in the freezer with the thing in it, like with the the custard, the ice cream in it for like 20 minutes. Didn't really, and then like I would like turn it again and it would still not really freeze, so I ended up just like putting it in a container, freezing it, mixing it a couple times, and like it came right. The texture of the lavender Earl Grey was definitely creamier, because it actually behaved in the ice cream maker, but like I have no idea what it was about it. It like made it behave differently. I guess it could be that it had like more salt, but I don't know. But it still turned out good, so it's all right. Then I've got a little bit of um lemon lemon polenta cake from my mom, from the lake yesterday. Um, which is I've it's a recipe that I've made before and I messed it up when I made it. I It said use ground almonds and I said okay and I got almonds and I ground them up and then it occurred to me that probably they meant almond flour. Um, but I had already ground up the almonds and like made the cake and it turned out okay, even despite the fact that like the almond bits were definitely larger than they were supposed to be when I made it last. But so when I was like, hey, you should make sure that you don't don't use the completely wrong ingredients. Um, I warned my mom before she made it. She actually used the correct ingredients. And like but I think she used like a coarser polenta because like the polenta texture was definitely different. Um, so I want to at some point try making that again and do a little bit of both and do like use almond flour but also use some ground almonds and see what that does to the texture. 'Cause I think that would be pretty good. And then we'll have to figure out when I can do this. I may have to do it next week. Because as previously stated, I have a really busy week this week. I'm going away this coming weekend. And so I'm gonna try and get ahead of on work like tomorrow through Wednesday so that I can leave a little earlier on Thursday. Um, but I also have like some stuff that I need to get done before I go. So I'm just gonna kind of be busy. Um, Busy all week. Uh, so I don't know if I'm gonna have time to try this again. So I may have to do it next week. But there is a Yuri manga that also has a like uh drama show. It's not an they don't have an anime adaptation. It's like a live action adaptation. Um, called She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat. It's really good. Definitely recommend reading it. I can say you should read it actually here. This is a live stream and it's not a non-commercial radio station. Um, I've realized that my like speech patterns, especially when I'm like in a audio mindset, I guess, I don't really know, are definitely very influenced by my time doing college radio, where couldn't tell people to do things. But anyway, you should read and or watch. She loves to cook, she loves to eat. There is a episode or like chapter, scene, incident. There's a part of it where they make um a like pumpkin pudding in the pumpkin. I have tried to make this multiple times. It has gone poorly. Like the pudding, like the custard hasn't set. The like um the like pumpkin has sort of like not cooked the right amount. Uh, it's like really difficult, and I think I found sort of a recipe for it from the like channel that did the the drama show, and like I like rewatched the episode. And I was like, okay, like how are they doing it? Because it's not like a full how to. It's I don't know, I would say maybe like similar to the instructional quality of these streams where I, kind of show and say what I'm doing, but it's not really a how to as much as like a more professional cooking show would be, I guess, or like a actual just recipe on its own. Anyway, the point being, I've kind of figured out how, and I was just like, okay, I'll use a recipe for the like pudding itself. Um, and just what I'll do differently is cook it in the pumpkin. Um, I've tried this multiple times. I couldn't get it to work correctly. I've tried it with like pumpkin. I've tried it with acorn squash. Um, I can't remember if I've tried making it two or three times before now, but in the show they used kabocha squash, which when I was previously doing it, I couldn't find. And I was like, I know I've seen it around. Like, I know I've seen it at like the farmer's market before, and it was just like not the right season. I was like, this is like a fall thing, and it I guess wasn't, or it like was, and it was just like too late into the fall, for them to have it. But they did have kabocha squash at the farmer's market this past week, this weekend, yesterday, when I was there getting tomatoes for this vegetable medley. We're tying it back. We're still talking about Stardew Valley cooking, kind of. So I got two of them, and I'm gonna give it another try. This is my like dessert white whale. Is this pumpkin pudding? Um, and like the flan that I made turned out really good. The like custard for the ice creams turned out well. So I'm like, okay, I've maybe kicked whatever custard curse was placed upon me when I was last. 'Cause I haven't. I think it was like in the fall, last like last year, that I made my other attempts at making this pumpkin pudding, and I think that I feel more confident about my ability to like make a custard successfully. I'm gonna like look around, honestly, maybe like use a like flan type recipe. Um, See if that helps at all. Uh, I'm thinking maybe I also like the first time I made it, I definitely like used too big of a pumpkin. And so I think it was like the amount of pudding was too thick, and I think that's probably why it didn't set all the way, which is why then the second time I tried it, I was like, let me use acorn squash because I can't find little kabocha squashes. But I don't know, maybe acorn squash will work. And that one went better, but like they still didn't set right. Um, so this time I bet it'll work. I believe in myself. I believe I'm gonna be able to make. I am a little worried, like I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie. Um, so I am a little bit like I wonder if it's like not turning out how I want it because I just don't like the end product. Um, but like that's a judgment I feel like I can only make once I make it successfully. And if I do that and I'm like, okay, I just don't like this dessert, there we go. I can be done. I can be free. But until then, I like, of course, I they didn't. I wasn't like happy with it because it didn't turn out correctly. It didn't work very well. Um, so I guess we'll see. Oh, cool. This is almost done. So that's the dessert cooking I've been doing lately. I also, one of my friends got me a mushroom cookbook. Um, that I have not. There's like, there's some like sections that are like talking about mushrooms that are like not just recipes that are like well like informational, not essays, but informational bits. And those I haven't read through all the way. I like skimmed a couple of them, but I did like look through the recipes yesterday. Yeah, yesterday when I was making my grocery list, and then I made for dinner last night. And that's the other thing that I'm gonna have along with some of these veggies for lunch is leftover from it. I made a like a curried mushroom soup. It was really yummy. It's just like I guess like kind of cream of mushroom soup a little bit. Like it's I got half and half. Oh, actually, I should update that in my recipe thing. I did actually technically make a modification. I made my own half and half. Well, I mixed it into half and half first. With it. One of my New Year's resolutions is to cook 50 new recipes. I'm almost done with it. Um, and I'm not counting the Stardew ones particularly because if I'm not counting ones where I make a new food, but I kind of just like wing it with if I'm not like following a recipe, I'm not adding it to this spreadsheet. But I am at 47 out of 50 that I've made. Anyway, it's really good. Um, it's like half and half, and like there's no like stock or like broth that you add. I guess the cream is makes up you make a broth with the cream. Um, but it's just like the liquid from the mushrooms pretty much does the like flavoring of the broth, and it's just like yeah, it turned out really yummy. So I'm also kind of just like continuing to yap while of course, like while it was cooking, I was like, I can't think of anything to say. Here's the roasted veggies. I'm going to get beet juice on my thing. What is it called? Pot holder. All right. I'm gonna just like get a little bit of each of the veggies on this plate, and try it, and that will be this stream. And then I'm gonna go eat. Where's like a small piece of turnip? Here's this one's smaller. Wah. Okay. Here we go. Got a little of each. Um, I guess I also need to decide if I want to add some. Okay, I like that the turnip is like cuttable with the fork, so the beet, nice. All like cooked through. I'm gonna try and get a little fork full that has all what, five veggies? Yeah. Got some tomato, got some spinach, onion, turnip, beet. Okay. Yippee. I think you could probably use a little bit more salt. Just sprinkle the. I definitely put too much salt in my hand. Whoopsie. Sprinkle a little bit on here. And maybe let's see if I think a little bit of lemon juice would also be good. Just gonna like splash a little tiny bit onto this plate and then dip the dip the veggies in it. Uh, I did only have the one piece of spinach on this plate, but that's okay. Yeah, I do think the lemon adds a little something. I'll probably sprinkle a little bit of lemon juice on all of it. It's honestly, it tastes like a bunch of roasted veggies. Like nothing particularly revolutionary, but that is kind of what I was going for. Yeah, the beet is definitely like the strong flavor, um, which makes sense because beets are a strong flavor. But it looks pretty good. I definitely think that the um turnip was a good addition. Like I think that the if the beet was the only sort of like firm texture, I think that would be a little too um I think it would be too much beet for this particular dish. Like, because I think turnips are like kind of a buttery flavor, you know? Like they when you cook them, they have like that really nice like it's still like a firm texture, but it's like also kind of soft. Um, and I feel like they balance out beets really, which I wasn't particularly like thinking of when I was like picking that as a veggie to add. I don't think I've ever had turnips and beets together before, but yeah, cool. I'm gonna warm up some soup. Yippee!